The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I feel like I used that for tea, but if I didn't, then hopefully we good. Anyway, what's going on, everybody? This is the Whatever We Want podcast, for old time's sake. I haven't done that in a while. This is the Whatever We Want podcast, where, as I always say, oh, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. I am one of your hosts, Superjaz.
Superjaz.
As nature intended. Yeah, Superjaz, SJJT, whatever you want, what have you, in the like. And I am joined by the other host of the show.
Oh, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent, big ugly himself, Omari Ellis, feogrande on YouTube, sometimes referred to as Pete on the show. Doing good as well. How about you?
And what I was going to say, which I will now say, is this is the Whatever We Want podcast, where we do just that. As I always say, we do not lead this conversation. This conversation leads us. And we let these chips fall where they may.
Every Wednesday.
We let these chips fall where they can.
Whenever we fucking want. I don't fucking for every woman and man, although, and everything else in between, I suppose. I can't really rhyme that anymore.
We let these chips fall where they want.
Regardless of the font. I don't fucking know.
We let these chips fall where they lie.
Don't ask us why. Stop.
I'm about to say, I will keep going. That wasn't a bad. I'm laughing. What I'm laughing is that wasn't a bad one to end on. And I just watched the episode that we did with Bill, where y'all like, why didn't y'all stop sooner? So I was like, that wasn't a bad one to end on. So I was like, well, I might just stop. And then you stop.
Well, just because I don't know, I don't know what else I can think of.
I mean, when you see, I'm over here trying to struggle with shit to say that is like somewhat synonymous to where they may. Shit. Where they fucking February.
Oh, no, February.
Well, you did. Well, it was. I let it breathe because of how dumb the joke was.
Ah, fair. I got nothing.
Let the chips fall where they October. Okay, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Are you not sober?
Of all the people to ask, but still.
I mean,
right. This is the time. This is what happens. It was at this very moment. Oh man, what would you do if I called you one day like drunk down with you after like all of our history and knowing who I have been, through our lives?
Laugh. Make sure you're okay. Be like, welcome.
Welcome. Welcome to the club, Jazz.
Yeah, if you're calling me wild drunk, that's probably I might check back up on you like the next day, be like, yo, everything okay? But wild drunk, I'm not gonna try to bring down your
buzz.
Yeah.
I call you up, just be like, hey.
That's happened.
Hey. Huh?
That's happened. Happened with a cousin. That was a cousin.
I never call you Peter, so you know something.
That was a cousin that did that once. Called me. I had not talked to them since they were 12.
Shit. I know him.
Yeah, he broke a table.
Okay, yeah.
And he was much younger than 12 at that point. But yeah, I don't even think I talked to him when he was 12. He was probably still younger than 12 when I saw him last. But he just called me up. It was like, is this Peter? Who? Well, I'm like, well, obviously this person knows, so he didn't call me. And he's like, no, is this Peter? Oh, I'm like, who is this? I just answered the question, is Peter? I'm like, I guess, yeah.
Did they sound drunk?
He said it sounded like a grown-ass man. And then he said his name, and I was like, oh, shit. And then he kept talking, and it's like... Eventually, he did say he was drunk off his ass. And then he was just also talking about how he was going to move down here and we were going to take over Orlando. I'm moving down there. I just want you to know we're going to take that whole place over. You and me, buddy, like old times, cousins all the way through. Like, yeah, dog, okay. And call me back tomorrow because I want to talk to you for reals. Called him the next day. And he's like, oh, man, my bad. I called you. I was drunk as hell. So I'm like...
Didn't remember shit. Mm-mm. Hilarious.
No, he might have remembered calling, but he ain't remembered like, oh, I'm coming. He wasn't serious about coming down here and taking over or nothing. He didn't.
Oh, but he did remember calling you.
Kinda. He remembered that he might have called me.
I had a girlfriend in high school that called me up late as shit one night out of the fucking blue, and it was very uncharacteristic of how she was talking. So we talk about hoping motherfucker was okay. I was like, man, no, she okay? I was actually a little worried. She just called me out of nowhere, late as fuck. Jazz, my nigga, was good. I was like, are you okay? What the fuck? Like, because I was like, this is not how you talk. She's like, yeah. I don't remember the rest of the conversation. I just remember that and then being worried because I was like, what the fuck? Oh, man. No, I mean, shit, when was the last time I got drunk out? I don't even remember. That might be, that can't be the last time I ever got drunk out in my life. But that definitely is one of the only times I ever remember somebody drunk dialing me. Because obviously I ain't drunk dialed nobody. But the day that I do, the day that I fucking like get drunk, so many people like I'd be like, it's just kind of funny because I always said that when I didn't, when I decided to choose to not, smoke, drink, whatever, when I was younger, and still haven't. I always said the day that if I ever decide to, I'm not going to freak out or get mad at myself about it. It ain't gonna be no big deal and be like, well, I finally decided that I'm ready for that and I'm cool. But I know so many people because some of my like identity, so to speak, to people might be this sober dude. Some people even probably look at me as like this straight laced guy, which I don't look at myself like that, but I guess if the shoe fits. That's what I'm saying. Like, I see. Well, I'll finish what I said. But what I mean is the day that I did like decide to drink, some people are gonna be like, "You," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I never said I would never do it." That's the thing. People think I never said I would never do it, but I know some people are gonna freak out the day that I do. It would be funny. No, the reason why I say I don't necessarily look at myself as like a straight laced dude is, I think I look at straight laced more of like, well, sir, I don't know if you should be eating after 8 o'clock because that's how you gain weight. That kind of shit. And like really like stick up my ass type shit. I ain't got no stick up my ass type shit. I just don't, smoke or drink. I don't give a fuck about nobody else. You looked at me funny when I said I'd never do it.
Because I was always under that impression.
That's what I said. I never said I would never do it.
I thought you said so because you felt like you don't need that to have fun.
I used to say something.
Which, while you didn't mean it as an insult to say it like that, the statement, I don't drink or smoke because I don't need to do that to have fun, implies you think that people who do need to do that to have fun, and so they wouldn't be fun otherwise. That's how the statement, the words itself, that's what it implies. I know that's not your intent. We've been over that.
No. Right, and I'll retract some of that. To be fair, a lot of people who do drink don't drink because they feel like they need it to have fun. But I guess the reason where that came from, obviously I'm a little older now anyway.
Yeah, this is a long time ago that you said that. I'm just saying, like...
But it's because I had been around and have been around a lot of people that, whether they admit it or not, like there's a lot of people who don't need it, but there's a lot of people who, whether they admit it or not, those motherfuckers need it to have fun. So that's probably why I was painting a broad stroke over everyone who decided to take a sip of alcohol because of a few people, which wasn't fair.
Well, I mean, I can't say that. Like back in the day, I was like, well, when it comes to back in the day, yeah, I'd said a lot of things myself and was extra judgmental, more so than you were.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I used to have a level of judgmentalness when the shit. I definitely did, but
yeah,
it wasn't
I
like
just figured like even though you were cool with other people doing it, you just always were like, nah, that ain't for me. I ain't never doing that because you've seen other people doing it. So I figured it was a case of never.
Yeah, that's why I said like even you being like my best friend and we've known each other for a long fucking time. Like I never. That's why I was like a lot of people are gonna see because like I said, so much of my identity is not doing it. That the day that I do, because I've said to myself, I'm like, man, if I turn 40, 50 years old and I decide that I feel like drinking now, okay, but a lot of people are going to be like, what, you? And I'm be like, it's just funny because like, I never said I wasn't going to do this shit.
Yeah, like I said, I'd probably call you the next day because I would figure some shit went down.
Oh, shit. Somebody in high school told me, because I did end up losing my virginity, like, later than the average. And somebody in high school was like, somebody in average was like, in high school was like, the day that you lose your virginity, man, he's like, you're going to smoke and drink too, and this and this and that. And like, because I hadn't done that yet. So since I hadn't done this and this and this, then when I did this, I'm going to do this and this. And I'm like, okay.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works. Someone at work asked me if I was celibate. They're like, are you celibate? Well, she asked the group, and I was like, well, celibate implies that you intentionally just turn down every fucking chance you get. Like, no, I'm saving myself for Jesus, or something of the equivalent.
It ain't gotta just be
or
for
the equivalent.
It's not
or the equivalent, saving himself for marriage, the right one, etc., the right moment. I'm saving myself, which there's nothing wrong with doing. I am not here to judge people on being virgins into their adulthood. A lot more people are virgins into their adulthood than you think.
I was saying a lot of motherfuckers just want to be celibate for however much, like a few months, a year, whatever, just because it's not even like any huge implications on it. So that's why when you instantly were like, for Jesus, and I knew you didn't mean it that way, it was just funny how it came off.
Yeah, well, because 9 times out of 10, abstinence is related to religion, because, sex is evil. Sex is evil, but you need it to make more people, so... well, that's why it's recreational sex that's evil.
As long as you being fucking safe, who gives a shit, right? But now I got you too.
End of the day, everybody's doing it.
Yeah, like if that's people's beliefs, it's people's beliefs, but that's how I look at it. As long as you being safe, that's the thing. If you're not being safe, rethink and you should be safe. But as long as you being safe. Huh?
Yeah, you better be safe.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. Like,
worst case scenario, you die. Best case scenario of things going wrong. So I guess not best case. Best case scenario unsafe is the 1% chance that you both, okay, cool, we move on with our lives like normal. But 90% of the time, you at least are catching something. And then the other percent of the time, oopsies, my life is ruined because now I have a kid. My bad. I shouldn't have done that. But you're lying. The kid's the best thing to happen to you. You love them. I'm sure you do. And I'm not telling you shouldn't. Of course you're going to love your kid. You have to. And we went over something similar with fucking Lady Bird, where it's like, no, you can love your kid. You may not end up liking him. At the same time, regardless of how much you love your kid, it is a fact that, congratulations, there goes all your money and free time and your social life. It is what it is, and if you want one of those, stay safe. Or you can be a jerk if you're a dude and just abandon the kid and walk away. But then you're an asshole.
I mean, shit.
Rightfully so.
Rightfully so, but I was gonna say that shit can work both ways. It just is not. It doesn't happen as often or isn't reported as often. But
women. There are women out there that abandon their kids. It's just.
It's either not reported as much, or it either not reported as much or just doesn't happen that much.
But it doesn't happen that much.
But either way, it is.
It does happen. It's just a rarity.
It's fucked up when parents do it in general. But anyway, we're getting on some serious shit.
It's like police brutality against white people. It does happen, just doesn't happen that often.
So anyway, I was watching the clouds the other day. What the fuck are we talking? The subjects on this show.
What?
God,
Is it
serious.
not?
I'm not saying you're wrong.
Yeah, all I said is it happens to both. If anything, they should be happy I said that. It happens to both people.
I'm not saying you're wrong by any means. I'm not saying I disagree with you.
No, okay.
I'm just saying, what the fuck happened to that show? it's like men leave their kid and fuck them, rightfully so. Women do too, but not as much. Like police brutality with white people. Okay, that's why I'm like, because next thing you know, we gonna hop into like all kind of other shit. Like, who did you vote for in the election and why? It's like, bro, we about to.
Fine then. Speaking of virgins, Max Caster apparently came out of the virgin, according to my Twitter. According to Twitter, it was like Max Caster of the Acclaimed.
Of the Acclaimed? Really?
Yeah, it was like Max Caster comes out as virgin to ask fans not to sexualize him. I was like, I don't know if that's true or not, because the way that guy be talking half the time in his little Acclaimed raps. But at the same time, I've known people who are virgins that talk about fucking all the time.
That are freaky as shit. But to ask fans not to sexualize him because he's a virgin.
Nigga, you a wrestler.
That's what I'm saying. Now, for y'all who don't know, which is, whoever, but Max Caster is on a wrestling promotion, AEW All Elite Wrestling. He is a prominently featured wrestler. So yeah, there you go. But no, man, like.
Now, I will, like I said, disclaimer, that was a Twitter thing I saw, and I didn't, full on research it or nothing, so people I fucked Max Caster last week! You lie! Okay, good for you, bitch. I ain't saying nothing. I was saying I saw a tweet.
I'm fucking with you.
Anyone can be a bitch.
Anybody can be a bitch. This is facts. No matter how old, anyone that should be a song in a musical. Anyone can be a bitch. Doesn't matter what's the sitch. Whether old or whether young, you can be part of the song.
You can be part of the song.
Oh shit! No, to say I'm a virgin, don't sexualize me is a little odd. But then again, okay, Max. I mean, what can I say, right? Shit, that was the one thing when I was a virgin.
Platinum Max Caster on Twitter. Please do not sexualize me. I am a virgin.
The fact that you as you got further into reading that, your voice went up here. It was probably unintentional, but you totally did that shit.
Oh.
Platinum Max Caster on Twitter. Please do not sexualize me. I am a virgin.
Look, again, I'm not shaming virgins out there.
I know you're not.
No, I'm just telling the people.
I know.
I just think that's 2022. People hear one statement, they'll take it out of context and kill you for it.
Kill? I don't know about kill, but
if they had the chance.
All but physically kill. I see what you're getting at. But as the Plain White Tees once said, hate is a strong word, but I really, really, really don't like you. So
because I'm a virgin, don't sexualize me. That's the voice you just used for it.
Did the voice on purpose. I wasn't trying to make the connection though. Holy shit. What is going on with this episode?
Hey there, Delilah, you know what? I don't want to be a virgin. I just got a cat for you. What's the species? It is Persian. Yes, it's true.
Hey there, Delilah, what that mouth do?
Hey there, Delilah, what that mouth do? Shit. Nobody's home, you can come on through.
And we can screw.
Orgasms, you can too. Yeah, we gon' screw. Oh, just go down on me.
Oh, shit. Oh, just go down on me. Oh, just go down on me. Down on me. Down on me.
Oh.
And then you change the old changes. It's not just him. It's not him harmonizing. That's him orgasm.
Oh, Delilah.
And I mean,
Okay.
it's funny. It's funny the connection because you know who Delilah was.
I don't.
Speaking biblically.
Oh, Samson. Okay, I was about to say I don't know who Delilah was.
What the fuck?
I thought you were saying who he was referring to in the song. I'm like, I actually don't.
No, I'm about to say, the fuck you think I was about to say that? The way you said
like, the thing, because you know who Delilah was. I was like,
you was like, no. I was like, whoa,
no. I'm sorry, because if that was a well-known like entity, like everyone knew that Plain White Tees guy fucked some bitch that's also famous named Delilah, like, and you're like, because we know who that is. I'm like, oh shit, now I done sat here and then talking about this random celebrity bitch telling her to go down on me and shit.
You said it like I was going to say, like, you know who Delilah was. She was actually a handicapped advocate that fought for orphans.
I wasn't even thinking that. Fuck? I was just thinking it's somebody that everybody knew who he was singing the song to, like the Delilah. I'm like, I don't know who that is.
I was just saying it's funny how the connection with the whole religious thing and then the whole how apropos that it was to Delilah with Samson. Because Delilah seduced him to cut off his hair, which was the source of strength for him. Oh shit!
Tells you right there, folks. Choose your career over fucking.
I didn't know what you was about to say. I paused because I was like, "Where he about to go with this?"
Choose your career over fucking.
Well, the way it sounded, and you didn't go there, so obviously there are no words being put in your mouth. You didn't go there. But when I said that Delilah seduced Samson, I thought you about to show you right there there, folks. I thought you were about to say like, "Don't trust him."
That gets you removed from everything these days. Hell no, I can't say that. No.
Not that you were going.
Pro-woman show.
Not that you were going to say it.
It's a pro-woman show. Superior species and all that.
Because the way you said that gives you rules from everything, so I can't say it. Makes it sound like off air we'd be like them fucking. We don't. But that's why I'm like, not that you were going to say it.
No, I wasn't. I said what I was gonna say immediately. I didn't even leave it vague. I said that goes to show you people, and said exactly what I was trying to say. I didn't go. That goes to show you people. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Honk, honk. Yuck, yuck.
Could you imagine if we were sitting over here, two black dudes, and we said "you people" and meant it that way? You're like, where did this fucking conversation go?
You people meant it that way, like. I mean, you people, the Omaricans out there. Oh wait,
nobody's talking about you saying it. I'm just flowing the conversation.
I'm like, what do you mean?
Nobody's talking about you saying anything crazy. I even said and very much prefaced it. You did not say this to make it obvious that you didn't say shit.
So this is what happens when it's late at night.
when we shoot an episode late at night the day before we have to upload. This episode, we've been doing this for 20 minutes, and this episode has gone more off the rails than some of the more recent.
About police brutality, child abandonment, virgins, women issues.
Sex and protection or otherwise.
That's how it starts. Starts talking about unprotected sex. Next thing you know, you're talking about abandoning kids and, police brutality. Somehow that works its way in there. Not exactly sure unless you listen to the conversation. You start talking about all kinds of stuff.
Such as?
What we talked about in the video so far.
What did we talk about in the video so far?
They've been watching. It's only been like 15, 20 minutes.
What have they been watching?
Whatever we want. Every week, every Wednesday. So, speaking of stuff that we talked this week. So, something I did see on the internet, just so that we have not talked about yet with our previous topics.
How can we make this a hot button?
I saw a video about this old game show in Japan that's one of the worst things from a moral standpoint that I've seen in a long time. So, think of the Truman Show, but Truman doesn't fully realize, but Truman's at least somewhat. Oh well, think of the Truman Show, but in real life, and then terrible. Well, terrible from a moral standpoint. And what I'll say is, there's this guy who was wanting to be an upstart comedian in Japan. I forget his name. I apologize. He eventually got a different nickname that I also don't remember, but I'll explain what at least the English translation is when I get there. He auditioned, amongst others, to be on a game show. Be a short game show, maybe win some prizes. Cool, right? They didn't really tell you all the details, just that you're going to be on the game show. He auditioned, he won. Yay! Goes into a room when he finally does to record. They tell the man to strip. And they're like, you are going to be in this room, and you can only... And the room just had like a rug on the floor. There was a bathroom and a kitchen, but there was nothing in the kitchen. And nothing in the bathroom, toilet paper or otherwise. Took a while for me to realize that was the case. But he could not use anything that he did not win in the sweepstakes.
He was butt naked.
Mail-in sweepstakes. He had to mail in stuff, like he would get magazines that had like sweepstakes and stuff in them. That's something that they would provide. And he just had to mail in sweepstakes for everything he needed until he reached a certain amount, till he won stuff that the prize value equaled a certain amount.
Wait, so he was like, it was like a reality show-ish type thing. Like
yes,
he's in this room.
And they told him that,
he stayed in there for like however long.
Yeah, they told him they would edit it down, whatever. He was under the impression they would edit it down to make like little half-hour shows or whatever, because they had a camera on him the whole time. Mm-hmm. And he was under the impression that they would edit it down. No. They might have for like the first week or so, but as it caught on, because a ton of people watched this was around the turn of the century. And by turn of the century, I mean 99 to 2000.
Like the Truman Show, shit.
And people ended up watching the shit. It was one of the first, like, majorly watched live streams. Like 24-hour streams. He was pretty much the prototype of streaming, if you will. You're like your people with your 24-hour streams. This nigga did it first, way back when. Technically,
how could they legally get away with that shit?
Japan, and also it's a different time. Also, he signed off, I guess, not knowing exactly what he was signing up for. But he was under the impression for a long time that it would be edited down. It wasn't. But he could not wear any clothes he didn't win in a sweepstakes. He could not eat anything he didn't win in a sweepstakes. He didn't have toilet paper unless he won it, which took months. Couldn't brush his damn teeth. He couldn't do all kinds of stuff. Oh yeah, and it was about... There were months on end. Eventually, he got the nickname from viewers of Eggplant because they would edit an eggplant to cover his privates while he was on camera.
Yeah, he was butt-ass naked, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and he just... No TV and nothing either. He just had his magazines and sweepstakes. He eventually wins a fucking PlayStation with nothing to play it on.
You would lose your fucking mind.
I think he won a game at one point. Then he won a PlayStation, and then like 6 months after that, he won a TV.
So he basically won the pieces backwards. He got the game, then the system, then the television.
But yeah, he just had to send out thousands and thousands of mail-in sweepstakes and hope he would win something. Luckily, he survived because he got like a 5-pound bag of rice at one point, although he didn't really have anything to cook it in. He didn't have a lot of stuff to cook it in, so he had raw rice. He found a means of cooking it, but he didn't really have any pots or nothing at the house either. He had an oven that worked, thank goodness.
What the fuck?
And a sink where he could at least have water, but he had no food aside from that rice. Eventually, he had to survive off of dog food and some other shit. It was crazy, and then.
What the fuck?
And then they were like, hey, look, cool. You survived that. He eventually successfully made the amount he was supposed to make, out of whatever. And they're like, all right, let's take you here. And they took him to another, like, halfway through his thing, they took him to a different location where it's the same room and they're like, go ahead, strip. They like blindfolded him, took him to location. It was the same thing. They're like, hey, we moved you because your own safety. What had happened was people had found out where he lived and were starting to show up to try to give him stuff, and they're like, no, we got to move him to another location. Okay. They also probably intercepted anything anybody gave him. He had no interaction with the outside world except for this camera, and I think he either got a toy or something else that pretty much became his Wilson, and the only thing he could talk to.
To watch someone's mind go to where you're watching them descend into speaking to a Wilson type is fucking crazy.
The Wilson, he had he had the Wilson and he had the camera. That was all he really had. He would just talk to people like, hey, I'm doing this, and be like, oh, I got this, the rice. And then he's like, oh no, my lifeblood, the rice is about to run out today. This isn't good. And then he got some dog food and had to survive off of that. He had to do a whole bunch of stuff. Then they moved locations. They moved up. Luckily, they had moved, when he first moved, they moved the stuff he had won with them, thank God. But when he finally read them out, they're like, all right, let's go. And then they took him to fucking Korea, because the show was way too popular to end it. They took him to Korea, told his ass to strip when he got in his new location. He didn't realize he was in Korea at first. They're just like, here you go, new location, cool. Oh, okay, I guess I win. I finally made the amount. Yeah. Gets to this new location, and they're like, strip. Do it again, this time in Korea.
So basically everything that he had previously done and all the work that he had put in didn't mean shit.
He had to do it a second time. But he did it faster than he did the first time in Korea. And then they're like, okay, move. You did it. Congrats. Let's go. And then he gets to a third location. They go and they just let him walk in and take off the head thing. And he looks around. It's the same fucking setup. And I guess I should have said spoilers at the start of this. Whatever. But it's the same setup. And he just strips again. He's like, well, this is my life now. He doesn't say it out loud, but he just looks and sees it's the same empty house setup. He's like, somehow I signed my life away to this being my life, but whatever. He just instinctively strips because he's just waiting for them to come in and tell him he's got to do it again. And then the doors, and as he sits down, the walls of the house fall down. He's surrounded by a crowd of people like, congratulations, you won! Scaring the shit out of this poor man because he hasn't had that much interaction with people, let alone a whole packed arena full of people. Yeah! Laughing as he's terrified, naked, and just like, oh, and it was fucked up. But it was one of the biggest things in the country at that time.
It sounds interesting, but it sounds highly fucked.
And he had to ban himself from playing the game once he finally got to TV because he pretty much played it for like 3 straight. So yeah, the first like live streamer way before Twitch of playing games was this guy.
How long did the run of it last?
Oh, in totality, it was either almost a year or just over.
So basically, like about a year of like no interaction with people. Knowing you're being watched.
Or actually, I think it was like a year and a half. Yeah. He knew he thought the show was being edited. He didn't think every single waking second was, which was the case after like month 2 or 3.
Holy shit, dude. Do you remember the name of this shit? Obviously, it'd be something in Japanese. But
I don't remember the name of it, but I can link you the video about the thing.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't even ask it for that, but I am curious. So yeah, send me the link. No, dude, that. What the fuck? What? How did you even come across this shit?
I follow a YouTuber a little small YouTuber that not that many people out there heard. Actually, people that watch my show may not have heard of this guy, but he's actually not a small YouTuber at all. He goes by the name of Critical or his Twitch name is like Moist Critical or whatever. YouTube is like Penguin Zero or whatever. But Critical, yeah, it's that guy. He had a video about it.
With the very like dry,
very deep voice, kind of monotone. Yeah. He can not be monotone at times, but for the most part, he's just really, this is a thing that I'm talking about. Blah blah blah. Let me throw in some, words or whatever. No, he's good. Like, some of his stuff is funny, some of his stuff is like hit or miss, but that's a very good piece where he talks about it.
That's crazy. That's why the reason why I say is like, how can you legally do that is because obviously there's a lot of like legal stuff you can be bound by whatever you sign on a dotted line for. But I'm just like, how the fuck can it be legal to do that to a person, whether they sign the contract or not? You basically said, we're going to isolate your bitch ass to be in this room and not to be clean unless you figure it out.
When he was so happy that he got the fucking toilet paper, and I was like, oh shit, they didn't even give him that. That is fucked up. And just thinking about him not getting the toothpaste either. And he's like, oh, I can finally brush my teeth.
What was the ultimate prize?
Some money, I think.
Yeah.
Apparently he did recover enough and became like a comedian over there. But still, that's a mental breakdown. That's like,
fuck your head up.
Yeah, and just the fact that they did that to somebody and got away with it, and then it was watched by millions.
There would be two halves of my brain, my like moral compass or whatever, when it came to that show. The one half would be like, this is fucked up, this is crazy, I don't want to see this, what the hell. The other half would be like, I'm so curious, I might want to have to see what happens. So there'd be like the curiosity of how, like, what would happen if you did this to a person. And then there'd be the other part that's like, this is fucked up, and I'd be like, you know.
What I will say, because to go with your point, because you're not wrong in the totality of your statement. Because people in the comments are like, how dare the people back then allow this to happen and watch this? I'm like, look, it's the same reason the traffic stops when someone on the other side of the highway had like a slight bumping of cars. People have a morbid curiosity about things.
There's a weird yep.
Also, with the show like that, because I'm with you, with the whole, like the way you broke down the two halves of the brain, but then I'll also throw in, there are also people who are probably watching hoping that this will be the day he gets the thing so he can be free, and they want to see that moment where it's like, hey, he's free from this. You know, they might not all just be watching with malicious intent. Like, and there was the same thing with the Truman Show. Like, by the end of that movie, the fans of the Truman Show are like, hey, Truman's figuring out that his whole life
everybody was watching it because it was getting close to him.
Looking to see him finally bust free.
Yeah. Everybody was watching, like, as the movie goes on. Like I actually kind of liked how they did that. They had the what was it, like the waiters at the diner.
Show spoilers.
They had the waitresses at the diner. They had the dude in the bathtub. The dude in the bathtub was hilarious, and they had everybody like at the bar and all that shit. But it showed you how everybody was watching because it was obviously getting close to Truman figuring out that he's being watched. And everybody's like, holy shit, what's going to happen? He's going to do it. And then, like you said, spoilers for the end. But when he finally figures the shit out and everybody in all the places that was watching was like, oh, yeah. Like they cheered because he got it, right?
Not even just that he found out, but that he decided, fuck this, I'm done.
Fuck this bullshit, right?
In case I don't see you again, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Deuces. And fucking left. And it's like, good for Truman. He finally got free.
And you know what I really like about
find out that life fucking sucks outside when everything's not tailor-made around you having a cool, ideal TV life.
Well, at least this time
that's the worst part about that is that his freedom equaled going into the real world, where
at least he can think for himself. That's the
shitty part about it. Is even though he is free, he's free to suffer like the rest of us.
What I was gonna say was what I really liked about the ending and like very ending of the Truman Show was after like Jim Carrey walks through the set and after Ed Harris gives this big speech and all this shit, which is Ed Harris's speech is kind of like a fuck you because he's like, I did this for you, Truman, because I saw it. It's like, bitch, who the hell said you could fucking dictate my life?
You grabbed
said
a
you could
baby
dictate
and
my
said,
life.
"This is your, this is this mine now. I'll make it a star."
Yeah, but so I was like, Ed Harris, like, you dope actor and great performance, but monologue is kind of I'm smelling my own shit. But anyway, what I like about the very very ending though is like after all of that, which kind of ties back to what you're talking about with the dude, after everybody's watching it and all of that shit, then you see the people watching it and they go, what else is on? Click, because it's like it's over. And it's funny because it's like that was somebody's whole life with all this crazy shit, but to the viewer, it was just something to watch to pass the time.
And they'll forget about him in like a year.
And because the second that it is over and they have this huge triumph, and then of course when they're cutting between the people watching and they show people in the diner, everybody's quiet. You could hear a pin drop because they're watching this shit with bated breath. Second it's over, click. I thought it was so powerful.
There you go, entertainers. That's how you know. Well, a lesson for you out there, aspiring entertainers. The second you're out of sight, you're out of mind, and they will just go and find the next one. Why do we look for this profession? I don't know, but I still want to be an actor.
I mean, I can start making claims and assumptions, and
the people will move on the second they get like an instant. Fans are fickle.
No, yeah, that definitely.
We appreciate them, but fans are fickle. Speaking of fans, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I could start making like claims and educated guesses and whatnot as to why we seek this shit out. As much as we know, there's so many fucking drawbacks and fucking pitfalls along the way.
Art is Dead is a song.
Can't even fathom what we could come across. But
Art is Dead is a song that partially encapsulates
shout out
that.
to Bo Burnham.
Yeah, it partially encapsulates that whole thing. Speaking of popularity, or not even popularity, but having a lot of eyes on you that would immediately forget about you.
Segue on point.
I have another show. I don't want to plug it too much because it's not like we're at the end. But on my channel, just with the jokes that when we were on there, they're like, "Don't talk about WWW."
Yeah, well, that was just Bill being silly, right?
I know, but nonetheless, I do talk about both on both, because I'm all about that cross promote. Anyway, this guy hasn't seen. Bill and I, we talk about movies that we trade back and forth. You've been on there a couple times.
Literally.
Yeah. Literally. We had a video about Keenan Ivory Wayans' I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
I watched it.
Yeah. You and about 1,100 other people.
Wait, what?
Yeah. I went to the views and...
Wait, what? Good for you! Holy shit!
According to the view count, yeah, it's by far, leaps and bounds, astronomically, the most views any of my videos have ever gotten.
I'll be damned.
That said, what gives me pause to not fully do backflips and celebrate, aside from the fact that my joints ain't built for it.
I feel like you about to
crush. Not a single comment, and only 2 likes. Now
that's weird. That happens sometimes.
No dislikes. So I'm like, okay, and YouTube shows you whether or not people watched your whole thing. Spoilers, not everybody watched the whole thing. So, but my thing is, okay, y'all didn't like it. Some of y'all ain't gonna. I know how the internet works, but to have 1,100 views and no comments, positive or negative, it could be a good thing that I don't have the negative comments. I'm just surprised, and it partially makes me question the authenticity of the 1,100 views. When a video right next to it, if you look on my channel, has 8. So. Yeah.
But that's like I was gonna say I did one of my songs, All That Remains. I did that for a local YouTube channel, but a local music thing. It's prominently featured a lot of artists, rappers, singers, just instrumentalists, R&B, rock, fucking a folk band, all kind of variety of shit. And this one guy on there, he had over 100,000 views, but he only has 14 comments and 104 likes. So it's just odd sometimes. And I'm not discrediting his views by any means. I'm just saying I've seen that before.
Gotcha.
Where the views with the likes with the comments is not what we're used to as far as the ratio. Because you would expect there to be way more comments or likes.
One out of 1,100 and plus, I think it might be 12 by now, but one out of those people should have said something. You know, just like,
I didn't even say anything. I watched it. I know y'all.
Well, yeah, not that I'm expecting everybody that watches to say something. That is not what I'm saying at all. I am happy.
It's just odd.
I'm happy, and nor am I kicking, a dead horse in the mouth or whatever. No, it's fine. The bottom line is
that you're doing what?
It's a colloquialism. Don't do that.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm not doing that. The bottom line is, it's kicking a gift horse in the mouth. I'm not kicking a gift horse in the mouth here.
All right.
Okay, so thank you for clicking if you guys did click on that. And I'm not necessarily expecting a comment or like. It's not like I beg for likes and stuff on my videos anyway. Mm-hmm. However, I was just surprised at the fact that no one had. Like, even if it was somebody that's like, this shit's too long. Shut your damn mouth, Omari. Okay. Person didn't like it because they thought the video was too long. And I have a tendency to ramble on when I talk. That's not news to me.
We had, back when I was trying to do a sleep in the third row with my other two friends, and I was doing that a few years ago, our movie review show. We did Pootie Tang on one of them, and we were not really feeling that movie. And I mean, maybe if I rewatch it, but I wasn't feeling that shit. We had somebody comment. We were getting some comments on some of our shit, like you said, where people were not really necessarily agreeing. And we had somebody comment. I don't know what it is, man, within the last however many fucking years where internet comments have turned into people who, when they are talking shit about you, it's like the more that you want to insult someone, the more illiterate your fucking comment comes off. Because somebody on Pootie Tang started saying this shit about y'all didn't get it and this and that, but it was like the most fucking where is your grammar ass fucking shit. I'm not even talking about they can't have an opinion. I'm talking about what are you trying to tell me? I had another one too when I was trying to do started a YouTube channel just in general. With the movie reviews were on a YouTube channel, same difference that blossomed into my original music duo that now blossomed into my solo career. So yeah, but on the same difference. The movie review show was an offshoot, but I was trying to do skits and just other videos with my other friend, people like saw us, and just because of the fact that we were like friends and cool and chill or whatever with each other, I don't even think we said anything like alluding to anything like this at all to make you even think this shit in the video. But the only comment on one of these videos, I don't remember what it was y'all are really, really cool. How long you been dating? And we both looked at that like, we weren't even like offended. It was just like, where'd that come from? Like, the fuck? It was just funny as shit. So no, I've definitely gotten my share of odd comments and shit like that. Shit, not to crap on your friend, because just because people don't agree with me doesn't mean that they have to. But your friend on the feogrande shit. Fucking my review of
it was so bad that it's just factually wrong.
No, that yes, but Dragon Ball Super Broly, where that motherfucker like went on a whole paragraph of, dude, are you serious? How could you not like it? This movie is this, and then because you said this, you don't know, and this and this, and it's just that, and I'm just like,
he also wants you to know that technically, in his opinion, Super Broly is a better Frankenstein story than Bio Broly. I forget the exact breakdown, because it was when he was telling me that right before we went to see the new Dragon Ball movie, which we may or may not have to review on my channel just because we set a precedent.
We have to.
Yeah, I've seen the new movie.
I haven't seen it yet.
I saw it last Friday.
I meant to say I forgot when it came out.
It's not spoilers to say that the animation's a bit off-putting because that's what everybody said when they saw the trailer. But you get used to it as the movie goes on.
Well, Dragon Ball Super was a little odd at times, not completely, but at times. But that was because at times they hadn't completed the animation.
It's a stylistic thing where it's off-putting.
Okay.
It's one of those 3D models that have like the 2D look or whatever. Like it's weird to explain because I'm not an artist. Well, not a visual artist.
Visual artist. You heard them?
Yeah, I'm not a visual artist. Kind of mad my coworkers seem like they're wishing COVID on me now.
They're wishing COVID on you
Because the past couple days, like I have worn a mask since this whole thing started. I'm one of the like 2 or 3 people at my job that still does every day.
Yeah, a lot of people are not wearing
mask. Well, yeah, especially down here in Florida, they don't believe in COVID down here. Even though, like, as a state, obviously there are individuals that do. Myself, for instance, but Florida as a state doesn't believe in fucking COVID because our governor doesn't. He's like, it's all a hoax by the liberals. Okay, sure. That said, they like yesterday, I had someone walk past me. He's like, so how long you still got COVID or how long you've had it? I'm like, I never had it. I've worn a mask the whole time. You've been working here for like 3 months. Are you just noticing I'm wearing a mask? And then today, some other people like, so who's got COVID that you worried about? Or you got COVID? No. I wear a mask all the fucking time, and one of the coworkers is like, yes, he even changes them to match his shirts, but no one really notices but me. I was like,
that's cool. That's cool.
I was like, thank you. But yeah, so I was like, what the hell? Why y'all keep assuming I got COVID just because I wear a mask? Fuck y'all. Don't be wishing COVID on me.
I never like flat out.
They were like, wait, you haven't had COVID yet? No, because I fucking take precautions.
I never assumed.
Now, I could end up with it because there are people who caught it who took precautions, and I've been blessed not to, or lucky. I don't want to put it all in a religious box for people who are like, you're oppressing my atheism. Fine. I've been lucky / blessed, whichever one you are, religious or not. I've been either lucky or blessed, depending on your religious beliefs. I have been, fortunate not to get COVID yet.
But what I was gonna say was I never necessarily assumed somebody did or didn't have COVID because they did or didn't have a mask on. Right? That's just funny.
But that's just how backwards the thinking is down here.
Well, we're slipping back into hot buttons or whatnot.
Oh yes, so, Florida is full of crazy people. Such a controversial take. Have you ever heard of Florida Man?
Florida Man. Put in your birthday in Florida Man, and then there's gonna be some crazy news paper headline and Florida Man did some wild shit.
Have you seen the constantly used meme gif of Bugs Bunny cutting Florida off of the United States that people use every time they hear something about Florida remotely unagreeable? They're like, let's remove this fucking state from the country.
Did that really happen? Like what I mean is like
a lot.
no. What I mean is like, was that an actual like Looney Tunes cartoon? He
wasn't saying fuck Florida. It was he was running from somebody. I think I don't remember exactly why he cut Florida off the map, but it wasn't I hate Florida and all the motherfuckers here should die like the way people use the meme.
I like that.
You like that way? You like that way?
I was gonna say I like that one Bugs Bunny where like memes be so funny. That one Bugs Bunny where he was whatever he was doing, but he's like they got his cheeks looking funny, and he's like, and it's like no that shit. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, okay.
That shit.
Fair
and
enough.
Then of course I don't know how the shit lives. Speaking of Bugs Bunny and fucking stupid memes. The shit only lived for like a week, but it was fucking everywhere and huge. That big chungus shit.
What do you mean it only lived for a week?
That shit was only around for a week. Like a month at most. A month at fucking most.
Okay.
You saw Big Chungus for more than a month.
Different internet circles, I suppose. And while I don't get it either, dude, they reference it in fucking multiverses.
Well, see, okay, this is the
They
thing.
literally have a taunt where he turns into Big Chungus.
Well, see, this is the thing, though. You're on, like you said, different. You're on new areas where you're around people who are gonna be talking about meme culture to the point where y'all not even talking about meme culture. Y'all talking about that culture and calling it meme culture. What I'm saying is, you're on areas where that is just gonna be all they fucking talk about, and it's specific only to that shit, as opposed to meme culture throughout the whole internet.
Would meme culture not be would meme culture not be revolved around memes, considering it's meme culture?
I'm talking
as
about
opposed to pop culture.
I'm talking about you're in certain sects of the internet where that one particular like area, all they do is talk about this for this. So it's almost like a bubble where all y'all talk about the same shit as opposed to everyone talking. If I start talking about battle rap shit as though it's all the internet, that's not the case. That's what I mean. I just watch battle rap shit.
Yeah, but that's closer. But if you were to call that battle rap culture, I wouldn't say you're wrong. That's not battle rap culture.
I consider meme culture to be culture throughout the internet, and I'm talking about.
So you see all internet culture as meme culture.
No, I see that meme culture is memes, and then it blossoms to becoming a bigger pop culture throughout the internet, depending on what it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Overly attached girlfriend for a second was a huge like meme culture that everybody knew. Bad Luck Brian to an extent.
It's like a meme within the bigger scope of pop culture. Like you said it yourself, within the pop culture of the internet itself. So I see like memes can go, like just because something's a meme in pop culture doesn't turn pop culture into meme culture for that week. It's just, this is a meme within the grander scale of pop culture. Do you know what I'm saying? For instance,
that's kind of what I'm getting at, I believe.
So that's why I'm saying we're talking about the semantics of meme culture versus pop culture.
Yes,
very
very
more
heavily
around meme culture. You are more around pop culture as a whole, and you'll see stuff that leaks out from the meme culture. That's what I'm saying.
And what I was talking about was that in the circles that you probably like, the areas that you probably frequent on the internet, you're going to be seeing things that are going to liken themselves to Big Chungus or Big Chungus type shit popping up more, because in that particular realm, that's all y'all see is Big Chungusy things. You all right?
My knee is driving me. Old age. Venerable.
Well, one thing, did you have a rebuttal?
No, I was just joking. I'm not old.
I didn't want to like fucking cut you off if you had a rebuttal to that fucking.
Nah, the bottom line is we had an argument over semantics, which also happens. We're arguing the same point at one another, but because we use different phrases, we got confused.
Pretty much that, because I was about to be like, this conversation that, for all intents and purposes, is and isn't asinine at the same time. But
it's asinine, it's asa 10, it's asa 11, asa 12. Who said that?
Somebody said that?
Oh, yeah. It's practically a catchphrase at one point.
Oh, who?
Stephen A. Smith. Because he would get mad at Skip Bayless. He would get mad at Skip Bayless for talking about LeBron in a negative light. He's like, the fact that that's blasphemous. That's a 9. It's a 10. It's a 11. That's a 12. I actually heard Skip mention it in regards to something else that Shannon said a couple weeks ago. He brought it back. I was like,
I do know, like, of course, the unmitigated gall. I know that shit.
The unmitigated gall to sit here and hide me and bloviate about
But maybe you will have unmitigated traffic to our respective socials. So if you would like to follow yours truly outside of here on my respective social media, then as I alluded to a tiny little bit this time on this episode, I am an MC. I get my rap on. And when I do, I go by the name of Superjaz, which is spelled SUPERJAZ. Anywhere you stream your music, you all right?
I'm painting. Go ahead.
No shit. Anywhere you stream your music, go ahead and look me up. I dropped my debut solo album about a year ago now, under the name of My Secret Identity. So you may have to put in Superjaz, My Secret Identity, because I'm not so famous yet. Also, if you would like to follow me on Twitter, you can go ahead and follow me under the handle Superjaz2. That's Superjaz number 2. And of course, if you would like to, you can find and follow me on Instagram under the name Forever Superjaz. The word forever is, of course, spelled correctly. And the first Sunday of every month, because of the fact that we can never stop talking about fucking wrestling, we decided to make a podcast devoted to just wrestling. So all my wrestling heads, join us first Sunday of every month where we talk about the wrestling that happened in the previous. Now, through the pain grunts, where can they find you?
You know where you can find me. First of all, you can find me here every week, every Wednesday on the Whatever We Want podcast. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube, as I mentioned earlier, on my YouTube channel, feogrande. That's Feo Grande. Have an ongoing series every Tuesday with my good buddy Bill Smith, where we talk about movies and other pieces of pop culture as a whole, such as we talked about an anime series, and soon we're going to talk about some Netflix series, but call it this guy. I don't remember exactly what service it's on. Call it this guy. Yeah, that's why I said it like that, because I don't remember what service it's on. But we're going to talk about that. I also have a Twitter and a Twitch that is Giotavi, Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. I recently did get back into actually streaming. I was playing Stray the other day, the game about where you're a cat. You press circle to meow. You're literally just a cat. It's all right. It's worth what I paid for it, which is nothing. But it's only because it was a deal to get it for free. But it's a solid game. But don't expect Schrodinger's masterpiece. You're a fucking cat, and you're helping robots. But yeah. Anyway, good series. I'm playing Miles Morales next, the Spider-Man game.
That's the newest Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, it's the black one. The black Hispanic one.
Miles Morales is half Hispanic?
Nigga's last name is Morales.
I never thought about where it came from. I just thought he was black. I'm not even trying to be funny. I knew he was black. I didn't know he had some Hispanic in him. What the fuck?
I'm sorry. I don't know why I said it like that. Like his last name's Morales. But yes, he's half. He's half and half. His dad's name, at least in the first Spider-Man game, that might be actually his name. For some reason, they decided to give the black guy a dad named Jefferson Davis, but
yeah.
And his mom's last name is where the Morales comes from. But yeah, his dad's name's Jefferson Davis. And he's a cop. Anyway.
So that being said, without any of the other flair, what the fuck are we gonna talk about next time?
Whatever we want, apparently. That's just what we do. Topics just go everywhere.
Apparently we could have fucking had a whole nother hour just off of the last shit you said before that. So be nice to yourself, everybody.
Adios, this.